Most people give really crappy advice on how to make money as an artist or whatever field, really. Almost all the ideas people give you are things that require years and years of experience or to have some sort of following to make even a sliver of the money that they're talking about. Like, most ideas people give require you to have followers in order to make money. And I don't really love that. So today I thought I would share some ideas that you truly don't need a following for, that you could start making money with. Now granted, some of these do take years of experience to have, but they don't require a following at least. The first method is art licensing. If you're not familiar with what art licensing is, essentially you're giving your files to manufacturers to make products and have those sold in stores like Target, Michael's, or any other big box store. The cool thing about this is that you can get your designs printed on planners, stickers, fabric, pillows, tableware like plates and cups. Literally anything under the sun can be licensed, so it's really cool to be able to see your products on other things. You can either get paid through a royalty, like a percent per item sold, or you can get like a flat fee paid outright, or you can sometimes do like a mix of both. Because you're pitching your designs to art agencies directly, you don't really need a following for this, you just need a strong portfolio. I'm sure in some cases that if you do have a large following, people reach out to you, which is really cool if that happens, but I wanted to present this as an idea of something that you could aim for even if you don't have tens of thousands of followers. You can also upload your designs to Spoonflower, which I don't really consider art licensing, but it's kind of in the same realm where your patterns are being printed onto fabric and then people can use that fabric to make pillows or clothing or whatever, really. But if you make patterns, it's a really good site to put your stuff on. If you're a digital designer, meaning you make SVGs, fonts, sublimation, or patterns, printable stickers, or anything like that, you can sell on a variety of digital marketplaces. I have an entire video talking about 10 marketplaces you can sell on that aren't Etsy, so I highly recommend that if you are just getting started. These sites are good to get your foot in the door and kind of see what sells, and everything besides Etsy is free to list, so it's really a good way to get started. However, like, the design world has changed a lot in the last few years, so these avenues are not as profitable as they once were, but it's still at least something that doesn't require you to have a following. People find you organically through the websites. I definitely advise against selling on design models because they have shifted to being like totally AI focused. Full transparency, they removed my shop because I like to post on LinkedIn about them, not closing someone else's shop. Their site has gone downhill the most out of any other site I've been on, and their lack of professionalism combined just has me wanting to steer people away from it. Etsy's great if you have some upfront cash to spend on the listings themselves. Obviously, it's very saturated, especially in the digital world, so you could be just throwing money at the wall and not seeing anything come from it. Although I am somewhat reconsidering Etsy just because I know a lot of people who are still making the most money on there versus any other platform, so I'm kind of like, do I give it another shot? I don't know. You could also sell on stock websites like Adobe Stock or Shutterstock. I personally have never done this and I'm not quite sure what the payout is. I imagine it's low. They're pretty well established. I think even with Adobe Stock, it's like pretty integrated into Adobe Creative Cloud. So I feel like that one might be a good one. I've been wanting to try this. I just keep forgetting about it. I think this would be a good option if you already have a lot of designs made and not just if you're starting out, because if you already have the designs made and they're not selling anymore, you might as well give it another life and see if it can sell on another website instead of designing specifically for the stock image sites. So definitely something to consider. I want to look into this and actually put my stuff on there, but I just honestly, I keep forgetting about it. I think about it like twice a year and then never think about it again. Like everything, you just have to weigh the time it takes to upload and list and see if it's worth the effort and the payout that you're going to receive, because time is money and you could be spending your time elsewhere. I always think it's good to try new things and at least give something a shot if you've never done it before, but once I see that it's not like worth the effort is usually when I kind of dip out. Now, this next idea isn't for everyone, but if you are comfortable speaking in front of other people, or I guess even if you're not, if you are wanting to get involved with the community, hosting in-person events is really a good idea. I did this a few years back for some hand lettering classes, and I was so nervous for this at first. Like, I do not like speaking in front of other people. I was so nervous that they were going to ask me something I didn't know the answer to, or they weren't going to be interested, or all these other negative things that I thought could go wrong, but none of it did. It turns out people who sign up for these things like are genuinely interested in what they're signing up for, and they paid money for it, so they're eager to learn. It was a good opportunity for me. I wouldn't make this like an all the time thing. At the time, I think I only had 2,000 followers, so I really didn't have that many. I think the way I got this job was because I did a craft show that this community event hosted. After seeing myself at the craft show, she reached out to me and asked if I wanted to host a lettering workshop because they were doing stuff like every month or something like that. It was pretty low key. I think each group was like a max of 20 and everyone was genuinely interested. I had a few lefties, so I was able to talk to them about that. But yeah, it was just all around. I think it was a good experience for me. Another option is to freelance, and you can do this in a lot of different ways. You could do it as like an illustrator. You could be like a virtual assistant. Speaking in terms of like what an artist can do specifically, if you go on Upwork, you will see a lot of like cover book designers or children's book illustrators. And if that's something you're really wanting to get into, there are lots of options on there. I think you could also probably put your services on Fiverr, but if you don't have a portfolio already, I would kind of make like a pretend portfolio, show off some of the illustration styles you can do, and just have that ready at your disposal because people will ask for that. You could also make a page on your website that shows all of your past illustration work and posting that link in Facebook groups or wherever. I'm sure there are Facebook groups for illustrators, like cover book designers. I'm sure there is. There's a Facebook group for everything, so you never know what will happen if you join those groups. On Upwork, you do need to take some time vetting the projects and applying for them and stuff like that. So it does take a bit of time to actually go through that process, but there's also a site called The Mom Project, and they have a little bit more higher quality jobs, and I feel like they're more vetted. You might want to look on there for illustration jobs as well. Now, the next idea is to start using Pinterest, because Pinterest is probably one of the most underrated but most useful social medias out there, because it's not a social media really, it's a search engine, and so your follower count doesn't really matter. Your quality of content matters, and that's what gets pushed out. It's pretty much fair game for everyone, so I recommend putting your work on there, whether it's example work that you can do or your SVGs, your products, whatever it is. I just highly recommend using Pinterest for your business. Now, you could also put your designs on print-on-demand sites like Society6 or Redbubble. I don't make a ton of money on this, but also I probably give it 2 hours of my time a year. So I know for a fact if I worked on it more, I would make more money. I just don't think about it very often. And yeah, unlike selling on a traditional marketplace, you get a commission for every product they sell and manufacture. So it's really cool because it's similar to art licensing, because you get to see your products on like a shower curtain or a wallpaper or pillows or whatever. So you can get a lot of bigger items made with your stuff, and you don't have to do any of the work. They do all the work, which is why you only get a small commission. But again, you get a small commission. So is it really worth the time? I couldn't say it is, but I also don't give it a lot of time, so I don't think I can make a fair assessment on it. The last idea I have for you is to make a blog and start sharing your affiliate links there, or monetizing it and adding like Google ads to it. You could post tutorials using your products. You could make listicles or like list idea posts, like top 10 Mother's Day SVGs or top 10 fonts for Valentine's or whatever it may be, and use affiliate links, whether it's to your products or other people's products, and you'll get a commission, obviously, depending on the site, based on if they purchased or not. All of my affiliate income from Creative Fabrica, Creative Market, and previously Design Bundles have all come from my blog. It's kind of cool to still be making a little bit of money through my blog years later after these posts have been up. So I definitely recommend it if you are interested in writing. If you have your blog on WordPress, then you can easily set up Google Ads and monetize it through there. I've made like $20 on ads this year, but I also really haven't posted too much to my blog this year. So I know it could be more if I was working harder on my blog, but it just like there's so many things to do. So I hope these ideas give you some inspiration on some new things to try. If you've tried any of these and have had success, or maybe not, please share your experiences in the comments below. I'd love to chat about it. I have watched so many videos over the years about this exact topic, and it just always frustrates me how every single one of them would be like, start a Patreon. Okay, who am I going to sell this Patreon monthly membership to if I don't have a following already? So I would get frustrated seeing these being like, this is just not the best advice because you're leaving out the key point of needing followers. And it doesn't really matter if you have 5,000 followers if they're not engaged. So I don't always recommend like just creating a paid membership if you don't think your audience is like that engaged with you. Those ideas definitely aren't for everyone. So I truly hope these ideas give you a little bit of inspiration to try one of these out. If you have any experience with any of these sites, good or bad, I'd love to hear your thoughts on them and chat about that in the comments. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.